Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for graduates of the Faculty of Business and Hotel Management and the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Sciences. In a few minutes, the graduation ceremony will commence. The procession of staff will enter first. After a brief pause, the university fanfares will announce the entry of the dais party. I will signal to you by this action that you are to rise and remain standing until both the staff procession and the dais party are seated. Please do not stand until I ask you to. May I also remind you that flash photography is prohibited in this auditorium. For the mutual comfort and enjoyment of all members of the audience, the university requests your cooperation in observing this rule. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the custom for Griffith University and its guests to gather to celebrate the conferral of academic awards on its graduates. These occasions hold special significance for our graduates, their families and their friends, and for the entire Griffith University community. On behalf of the Chancellor of Griffith University, I am delighted to extend a very warm welcome to everyone present this evening and to offer congratulations to each of our graduates. It is also a great pleasure to welcome our distinguished guest, Mrs. Quentin Bryce, to tonight's proceedings. Mrs. Bryce, Chair and Chief Executive of the National Childcare Accreditation Council, has long played a leading role in the area of child welfare and gender equity, and I know that we all look forward to hearing her address this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be associated with a higher education institution which is as progressive and as innovative in its outlook as Griffith University. The recent National Quality Assurance Review ranked Griffith in the first band, confirming it as one of the nation's top universities. This first band placing reflects not only our vigorous adoption of quality improvement policies, but also the university's genuine commitment to the pursuit of excellence, academic rigour, student welfare, equity and intellectual freedom. This evening's graduation ceremony is the third to be held in 2 days, reflecting the growth of student numbers at the Gold Coast campus, the fastest growing of all of our campuses at Griffith University. To meet the resulting demand for additional physical resources, the university has embarked upon a substantial capital works program at the Gold Coast campus. This includes the provision of a new community building, an engineering building and an information services centre. And there are also plans to build a magnificent new sporting precinct. All of these projects are aimed at ensuring the maintenance of quality across all elements and levels of operation at the university, including the provision of first-class facilities. Our graduates tonight illustrate the breadth and diversity of a modern university education in an innovative institution such as Griffith University. Graduates from the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science will receive their awards, along with graduates from the Faculty of Business and Hotel Management. We welcome all of them to this ceremony and readily acknowledge all their achievements. The Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science continues to experience strong demand, and there has been an unprecedented number of enrolments in the faculty this year. In response to the increase in student demand, the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science has developed a number of new courses, as well as reviewing and restructuring existing courses over the last 12 months. In addition to the 2 existing schools, Applied Science and Engineering, a new School of Information Technology was introduced this year. The new school's Bachelor of Information Technology program was also offered for the first time this year. This degree, specialising in software engineering, is intended to be a flagship course and attain the highest entrance cut-off level for any such degree in Australia. A new Masters in Computing will be offered by the faculty in July this year, while the School of Applied Science added 2 new majors to its Bachelor of Science program. The major in Environmental Science and the major in Ecotourism and Sustainable Tourism were both formulated around today's pressing need to both monitor and protect our environment. In the past year, the School of Engineering put a good deal of effort into planning the first stage of what will become the engineering complex on this campus. The first building is due to be completed before the end of this year. And this $3.5 million project will provide much needed civil engineering laboratory space for both teaching and for research. Included will be a state-of-the-art facility for concrete and structural testing, and the facility will add significantly to the engineering infrastructure of the Gold Coast region. Professor Yu Chai Lu, who recently took up the Foundation Chair in Civil Engineering, came to us with a distinguished international reputation in concrete structures. His appointment will further enhance the faculty's present high standing, both within the university and in the wider community. The Faculty of Business and Hotel Management has also continued the active development of its academic programs in the past year. This year, the faculty offered the new Masters in Tourism Management, which was designed for industry executives to complement the Masters in Hospitality Management. A Masters in Professional Accounting was offered in collaboration with the Faculty of Commerce and Administration, while planning commenced for a new Bachelor of International Finance with a focus on the Asia-Pacific capital markets. The faculty is also now offering the first full degree program in golf management in Australia. The past year has seen the appointment of 3 foundation chairs designed to provide leadership and vision in the faculty schools. Professor Drew Nesdale will become head of a new School of Applied Psychology, as well as Deputy Dean of Staffing and Equity in the faculty. Professor Thomas Muller was appointed Foundation Chair of Marketing and is head of the School of Marketing and Management, while Professor Lachlan Mia joined the faculty as Foundation Chair of Accounting and head of the School of Accounting, Finance and Legal Studies. Tonight, of course, is a special occasion for all of our graduates who have completed their studies and who are to receive their awards. They have demonstrated a command of the knowledge and skills necessary for their chosen field of endeavour, as well as a willingness to persist with the higher level of discipline needed for high achievement in any field. And together these qualities provide an excellent foundation for establishing a successful career. You, our graduates, this evening, join an impressive company of people who have gone before and who have already achieved success and acclaim in Australia and overseas. As our new graduates, you will, I am sure, make an equal contribution. As we continue with tonight's proceedings, I express warm congratulations to each of you and extend to you our best wishes for your lives ahead. I now call on the Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Director of the Gold Coast University College, Professor Michael Irving, to present the Director's report on the activities of the campus during 1994.
Deputy Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Chairperson of the Advisory Council of the Gold Coast University College of Griffith University, distinguished guests, our graduating students, ladies and gentlemen. 1994 has seen the Gold Coast University College of Griffith University continue to expand and consolidate its position as the largest provider of quality tertiary education in this region. Total enrolments in 1994 were in excess of 3,500, and approximately 8% of our student load were international students. The campus was significantly over-enrolled due primarily to a very strong demand for courses in the faculties of Nursing and Health Science and the Faculty of Business and Hotel Management. Our entrance standards are amongst the highest in Queensland, and the requirements to enter our Bachelor of Arts in Applied Psychology are the highest for any psychology program in Australia. All faculties establish positions for Deputy Deans teaching and learning, as part of the university's commitment to quality teaching and learning. Following extensive consultation with the professions and the regional community, new programs in the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Health Science, the Bachelor of Exercise Science, the Bachelor of Information Technology, the Bachelor of Arts Communication, together with new majors in ecotourism and environmental sciences in the Bachelor of Science degree were approved. And as the Deputy Chancellor has just advised you, the entrance standards for all of these programs were amongst the very highest in this country. Clearly very strong evidence of a recognition of the quality of our academic programs. New postgraduate courses in hotel and tourism management and nursing were also developed in 1994. It was particularly pleasing to note that the National 1993 Graduation Destination Survey identified that graduates from Griffith University's Gold Coast campus had a full-time employment rate that was 20% above the national average. Our hotel management school again won the top industry training award at the annual Queensland Tourism Awards. The academic profile of the Gold Coast University College of Griffith University came of age in 1994, with all faculties enrolling honours and postgraduate research students. And as a result of these activities, enrolments in postgraduate research students have more than doubled in 1995, and our first research masters and PhD students graduate this year. Staff in all faculties won major nationally competitive research grants and consultancies. 6 new professors were appointed in 1994, and in addition, a number of other senior academic appointments were made. These new appointments are providing major direction in terms of our pursuit of the quality of teaching and research at this campus. In addition, significant numbers of junior academic staff have received grants for time release to enable them to fast-track their research qualifications. A major program of increased library holdings occurred in 1994, and with the assistance of additional funds from the faculties, the Directorate, the Vice-Chancellor and the Division of Information Services, there was a 21% increase in monograph acquisitions and an additional 221 serials were acquired. Deans of the Gold Coast faculties deserve special mention because they contributed over $250,000 from their own faculty funds to enhance their library holdings, as it's our view that quality learning and teaching must be associated with a quality library. A campus librarian, Ms Cathy Griffith, resigned at the end of the year to accept a position in Brisbane, and we are particularly grateful and appreciative of her leadership and guidance in establishing quality services in our library. But we are equally as pleased to welcome Mr Ian Somerville from the State Library of Tasmania as our new campus librarian, and Ian brings unique expertise to the campus in terms of his extensive knowledge of the interaction between library services and computer interfacing. As the Deputy Chancellor indicated, 1994 has seen the commencement of the first new building since the amalgamation with Griffith University. The Amenities Building, which is a joint initiative between the University and the Student Representative Council, was commenced in September and will be completed at the end of July this year. This building has state-of-the-art facilities in terms of a training kitchen, a training restaurant, as well as having a facility for student union activities, commercial shops, and also a major dining hall for students. In addition, stage 1 of our engineering building is about to commence, and this will be ready for occupation at the beginning of 1996. In addition, a stage 1 of the information services building will commence in July and will be ready for occupation within 12 months. Total expenditure for these 3 projects exceeds $14 million. As a result of strong local, state and federal representation, the Gold Coast campus was allocated an additional 100 growth-funded places for 1995. It is the view of the Gold Coast campus that a minimum of 250 places per year, additional places per year, are required for the remainder of the decade if we are to provide equitable access for tertiary education to students in this region. Despite continued representation, the state government is not prepared to donate extra land for the expansion of our campus. Every year we find that graduation ceremonies at the Gold Coast represent a watershed. For example, this is the first year where we've had so many graduates that we've required to have 3 graduation ceremonies. And it is most likely that next year we will have to proceed to having 4 graduation ceremonies. Such is the rapid growth of our campus. And in particular, these recent graduation ceremonies have marked a watershed for our campus in terms that they are the last graduation ceremonies to be presided over by 2 of our foundation deans of the University College. Last night we acknowledged the contributions by Associate Professor Pierre Bohm as the Foundation Dean of the Faculty of Nursing and Health Sciences. And tonight I would like to make special mention of the contribution by Mr. Dave Edwards, who is our current Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science. Dave Edwards was seconded down to this campus from the Darling Downs College of Advanced Education at the end of 1988 and commenced duties here as an Associate Dean of Engineering in January 1999. At that stage, the arrangement was that students would study the first 2 years of engineering at our Gold Coast campus and subsequently transfer to Darling Downs College of Advanced Education for the completion of their final 2 years of engineering. David then subsequently was appointed as the Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology in December 1989 and has held that position ever since, and at this stage is the longest serving Dean, continuous serving Dean in the university. In 1995, David has built up a faculty to more than 500 students in 3 schools, namely the School of Engineering, the School of Applied Science, and the School of Information Technology. And although the faculty is still the smallest faculty in our rapidly growing campus, it is the faculty which has the greatest number of research students and is one of the faculties which is leading the initiatives for research both on our campus and throughout the university. I have particularly valued Dave's sound wisdom and advice to myself, and he has always been a very loyal and strong supporter of the university. I think Dave can also be recognised by the fact that he is a totally committed teacher, and he's always dedicated his time, considerable periods of his time, to working with students. But he has also fought the battles for his faculty, which meant that from time to time he has been somewhat scarred in that approach, as you can see. But he has been sufficiently robust and broad-minded that he can relax over a glass of wine and take things as they come. And Dave, I would like to thank you very much for your leadership, and I'd like particularly our graduating students to thank Dave for a magnificent effort. Tonight also is another milestone in the university in terms of the fact that I think this will be the last ceremony at the Gold Coast campus where Professor Roger Holmes will participate in his current role as the Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Research. Roger has accepted an invitation to become the Vice-Chancellor of the University in the Northern Territory, and the Gold Coast campus is particularly appreciative of Roger's role, dare I say bullying at times, in terms of prosecuting the case for the development of research at our campus. And I must say that I'm very appreciative, as we all are, about the role that Roger has played in terms of not only developing a research culture and encouraging it, but also his strong commitment to all of the activities of the Gold Coast, in particular his irregular attendance and contributions to our academic board. Roger, on behalf of everyone at the Gold Coast, we welcome you. We firstly congratulate you We have no doubt that you'll go from strength to strength in your new role, and we'd like to particularly thank you. As the Deputy Chancellor has indicated, 1994 was an excellent year for Griffith University, being ranked in the top band of Australian universities for quality teaching and learning. This is an important national confirmation of the quality of education at this university. The Gold Coast campus played a significant role in this accreditation, with our Business and Hotel Management faculty being one of two faculties in the university which were intensively evaluated by the Quality Assurance Committee. Although the university can be justly proud of these achievements, no university can aspire to these ideals without the commitment to and the ownership of quality educational processes by a highly motivated student body. Quality university education is an interactive process between teachers and students, and I would like to pay special tribute to our graduating students who have so richly contributed to the academic life of our campus and university. From our humble origins in the catacombs of Surfers Paradise State School, and I see some of our students graduating tonight who commenced their studies there, we now have at Parklands a vibrant academic community of the highest standards, and this is due largely to the pursuit of excellence by our student body. On behalf of my academic colleagues, I'd like to congratulate you all on your achievements and to thank you for working with us to ensure that the Gold Coast University College of Griffith University can rightly claim to provide relevant, quality tertiary education of the highest standard to the citizens of the City of the Gold Coast and surrounding regions. I encourage you to keep in contact with your university through the alumni chapter, and I look forward to seeing you all prosper in your chosen careers. Thank you.
I now call on the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research, who will in turn introduce the Deans, and the Deans of course present the graduates from their respective faculties who are to receive their awards at this ceremony this evening.
Deputy Chancellor, I present the Dean of the Faculty of Business and Hotel Management, Professor Paul Ryder.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you graduates who have been granted the Bachelor of Business. Clarita Alexander. Tanya Allen. Amanda Bathersby. Donna Bowman. Murray Bergen. Beata Bukowski. Michelle Burt. Joseph Box. Gregory Brown. Shelley Brown. Rodney Birchall. Marty Burkett. Benjamin Callum. Peter Campbell. No. Sorry. Michelle Carlton. Nerida Casson. Amelia Chan. Kim Chan. Christina Chan. Kevin Claveri. Matthew Close. Elizabeth Cockle. Lyndall Collins. Jodie Cooper. Michael Cooper. Andrea Davidson. Melanie Davies. Michelle Dawes. Janine Denning. Nicole Deskovich. Diane Doig. Angela Donahue. Kelly Druitt. Zan Duganjic. Robert Dugdale. Kevin Dyer. Robin Early. Jodie Evans. Claire Flynn. Deborah Foley. Nicole Ganderton. Sharon Garland. Alan Gill. John Girardi. Justin Gorman. Scott Green. Mark Gregory. Melissa Griffiths. Cameron Gruber. Peter Hackett. Trina Hallett. Daniel Harper. Sarah Harrison. Troy Hart. James Hemmings. Darren Herft. Gregory Hockey. Alison Howard. Li Hua Huang. Nicholas Huffles. Shane Inglis. Sharon Jack. Ava Katcher. Gillian Kelly. Lynn Parfitt Kajunovic. Fiona Lam. Stephen Lambert. John Lane. Lorraine Langsford. Robin Leaf. Christine Lee. Adam Lonsdale. Benjamin Love. Ian Mahadi. Tracy Marr. Stefano Mamata. Caroline Martin. Margaret McClelland. Jean McElroy. Belinda McIntyre. Bevan McKay. Stephen McKinlay. Carol McCone. Kerry Mee. Todd Merritt. Luke Middleton. Francis Moore. Wayne Moran. Jefferson Morrow. Lee Muirhead. Cherie Murphy. Simon Newman. Bernice No. Ray Nugent. Bronwyn O'Donnell. Penelope Page. Stephen Paul. Donna Pears. Michelle Peet. David Pickin. Dion Pigeon. Nicholas Pillai. Christian Polglase. Chris Puddy. Mark Pulverenti. Adam Peirce. Amanda Kwalashevsky. Carol Rayburn. Corey Richardson. Mark Ritchie. Gregory Robertson. Melinda Robinson. Melanie Rogers. Mark Roworth. Angela Ryan. Libby Salmond. Yvonne Scherer. Belinda Schumacher. Lee Scotter. Rod Scotton. Tristan Smith. Ross Sondergeld. David Spence. Katie Steinwaddell. Fiona Stoneham. Jeffrey Tacey. Michael Tate. Scott Taylor. Bridget Telling. Andrew Thomas. Nina Thompson. Lisa Thornton. Andrew Thrush. Ms. Heather Tinsley. Darren Tulk. Michael Turner. Simone Ullman. Travis Waller. Nicola Ward. Melinda Warner. John Whiteoak. Graham Wilkie. Nolene Willis. Sharon Willis. Colin Woodward. Zhenghua Zhong. Carmen Zimmerman. Deputy Chancellor, the Medal for Achievement in the Bachelor's Degree course may be awarded annually to the graduate with the highest academic achievement in a Bachelor's Degree course. The medal is not awarded if there is no candidate of sufficient merit. Deputy Chancellor, I am pleased to present to you a graduate who has been granted the Business Medal, Darren Andrew Tull. Deputy Chancellor, I'm particularly pleased to present to you two graduates who have been granted the Bachelor of Business with First Class Honours. Marcus Randall. And Stuart Weirter. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates of the Faculty of Business and Hotel Management. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you graduates who have been granted the Master of Business Administration within the Graduate School of Management. Bruce Dalton. Ian McLeod. Annette Patocki. And Brendan Walker. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Graduate School of Management.
Deputy Chancellor, I present the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science, Mr. Dave Edwards.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you graduates who have been granted the Bachelor of Science. Carl Andrew. Matthew Davidson. Paul Downham. John Foster. Mark Gold. Vicky Jones. Craig Jordan. Troy Mitchell. Monique Salzman. Ian Stewart. Pung Tran. Mark Watson. Brian Zancola. Deputy Chancellor, the Medal for Achievement in the Bachelor's Degree course may be awarded annually to the graduate with the highest academic achievement in a Bachelor's Degree course. The medal is not awarded if there is no candidate of sufficient merit. Deputy Chancellor, I am pleased to present to you two graduates who have been granted the 1994 Applied Science Medal. John Paul Foster. Brian Zancola. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you a graduate who has been granted the Bachelor of Science with Second Class Honours, Division B, Rhonda Hall. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates of the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will now be a brief musical interlude performed by the Queensland Conservatorium of Music Brass Quintet.
I now call on the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Roy Webb, to introduce this evening's guest speaker.
Deputy Chancellor, it is my privilege and pleasure now to introduce tonight's guest speaker, Ms. Quentin Bryce. Quentin Bryce is a human rights lawyer with a long background in women's rights and advocacy for children. Since an awareness and commitment to issues of equity and social justice are qualities we seek to encourage at this university, it is particularly appropriate that Quentin Bryce has been able to accept our invitation to speak this evening. Quentin Bryce has woven professional and community roles together in a varied career. She was among the first Queensland women to be admitted to the Queensland Bar, and in 1968 she was the first woman to be appointed as a lecturer in the Faculty of Law at the University of Queensland. From the outset, Ms. Bryce was interested and active in the area of women's rights. As a member of the National Women's Advisory Council in the late 70s, she convened a number of conferences on women, including a national conference for mothers who had given birth to disabled children. During her term of office, she also carried out extensive consultations with Aboriginal women in remote communities in the Northern Territory. From 1984 to 1987, Ms. Bryce established the Queensland Women's Information Service, which provided information to Queensland women on Commonwealth Government programs and policies such as the Sex Discrimination Bill. In 1987, she was appointed Director of the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission in Queensland, and the following year became the Federal Sex Discrimination Commissioner, a position she held until 1993. Over the years, our guest of honour has worked in a variety of settings, but child welfare in one form or another has been one of the most lasting of her interests and concerns. Ms. Bryce was the first national president of the Association for the Welfare of Children in Hospital. Dedicated to the cause of child safety, she worked in areas of juvenile justice, mandatory reporting of child abuse, legal representation for children, and adoption law reform. In addition, she served on many government and non-government committees and boards concerned with children's issues, including the Australian Children's Television Foundation Board and the Abused Child's Trust. In 1988, Ms. Bryce was a member of Australia's delegation to the United Nations Commission for Human Rights in Geneva during the Commission's debate on the rights of the child and in the associated convention. In the same year, she was made an Officer of the Order of Australia in recognition of her services to children. Today, Quentin Bryce continues her work on behalf of children as Chair and Chief Executive of the National Childcare Accreditation Council. She is also an active member of numerous community groups concerned with human rights, the status of women and advocacy for children. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome Quentin Bryce this evening, and I now invite her to deliver the occasional address. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Chancellor, thank you, Vice-Chancellor, for your kind introduction. I'm indeed honoured by your university's generous invitation to participate in this important ceremony. Distinguished guests, friends and colleagues, graduates and your families. I know that there are graduation ceremonies going on across Australia in all faculties, in all universities at present. Every one of them is a special event, marking as they do significant personal achievement, the end of a course of study and all that that represents, a hard slog, the application of intellectual rigour, coping with doubts, going without things, stickability hanging in there. And for graduates' families, these ceremonies bring an enormous sense of pride. To see your daughter or your son, your loved one, receive their degree is one of the best warm fuzzies you'll ever get. Somehow it makes it all seem worthwhile. And somehow there's something particularly special about that first bachelor's degree. It represents a key to economic independence, autonomy, opportunity, It signifies that you're on your way. So cooperate with those photographers this evening. They record an important milestone. The formality of the occasion reminds us of the rich history, the traditions that university education established many hundreds of years ago, represented in the academic dress, the ritual of the procession, and the mace, which is at the very heart of the ceremony. It was originally a weapon of offence of great power. It was carried in battle by medieval bishops, since canon rule forbade priests to shed blood. Bishop Odo is represented on the Bayeux tapestry as wielding one instead of a sword. And later maces began to have a ceremonial function, though they're still intended to provide protection. Today the mace is carried before the Chancellor and his deputy on all ceremonial occasions over which he presides. It's a symbol that the Chancellor represents the tradition of the university and that in the Chancellor is vested the good name and authority of the university. These traditions have been passed down from generation to generation, from the oldest to the new, expanding with each one the opportunities to higher education to more and more students. It took about 800 years for us women to gain access to those opportunities, and it gives me enormous pleasure to see a significant number of women graduates here this evening in fields which have in the past been men's domains. I believe that the single greatest achievement of the women's movement of the last 25 years has been the increased participation of women in education. This great social revolution has touched all Australians' lives, even though there's a few who still refuse to admit it. It makes my heart sing to see that our campuses are now populated by men and women in equal numbers. When I was a student, there were few of us, and we were clustered in the arts faculty, preparing for a world that had no understanding of our hopes and our aspirations. A world which required us to resign from our jobs when we married and paid us about 60% of the male wage for the same work. We'd never have dreamt of things like maternity leave and sex discrimination legislation. And I certainly never dreamt of fulfilling the role of occasional speaker. It's quite an awesome challenge standing here. So I've asked about what makes a good graduation address? What do they like? Does anyone ever remember a sentence spoken? Don't go on, was the universal advice, like the speaker who did for 50 minutes or so. You know how academics are wound up to that 50-minute program. On and on she went until an irate parent strode from the back, hit the Vice-Chancellor on the head, who fell to the floor saying, "Hit me again, for God's sake, I can still hear her." Mr. Deputy Chancellor, I have no new message, no great words of wisdom to bring to this ceremony, but I am grateful for the opportunity to share some thoughts and ideas, to explore a few themes with your graduates about their next steps and the pathways ahead. Standing at the threshold of a new stage in one's life can be quite scary. I know that I find transitions difficult. They're fraught with anxiety, but they're also exhilarating and testing. The fantastic degree of change that characterises the workforce in 1995 is reflected in the fact that many of you are in jobs that didn't exist a few years ago, and that in 5 years' time you may be in jobs that don't exist now. We have an extraordinary employment picture today in which many have no place at all, others, including some university graduates, struggle to get into it, making all kinds of compromises. Employers have difficulty finding the trained people they need, and those who are working are often doing the jobs of two people. Work stress is an increasing problem for more and more Australians who are putting in longer and longer hours. Whatever happened to the promise of the technological era, encapsulated in the theme of Expo 88, leisure in an age of technology? When I leave my office late at night, I note that others are still working at 9, 10 and 11 o'clock, and that on Sundays the car park is half full. This signifies heavy work pressure and a huge toll on family life. We hear a great deal about work and family policy, but there's a huge gap between the rhetoric and the reality. I'm particularly concerned by the increasing burdens many women are taking on. They still bear responsibility for most of the domestic work and childcare. Few childcare services meet their needs for flexibility of hours, and they teeter along a tightrope, balancing work and family responsibilities. Too often, they live in what Hugh Mackay calls the last straw syndrome, with little, if any, chance for refreshment, recreation, or relaxation. I think that it's true to say that generally men and women are treated equally in the workforce until maternity comes into play. Many employers still have outmoded assumptions about maternity leave. Complaints to the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission in 1995 show that this is the case in big business as well as in small, as the recent case against the Commonwealth Bank illustrates. In many workplaces, the corporate culture puts an insidious pressure on to stay late. It gives a message that you show your commitment and your loyalty and your dedication by staying around into the night. And there's this message that's how you'll get ahead. I hope you'll make a contribution to changing these practices, to exposing them for what they are: old-fashioned, inefficient, and non-productive. This will require, on your part, leadership, taking risks, speaking out. It's essential if we are to ensure a workplace that empowers its members and creates an environment that people enjoy, one where the pressures create challenges, not stress overload, burnout, and anxiety. An environment that is friendly, where people relate to each other as colleagues. It's worrying that still many Australian men are unable to do so in relation to women co-workers, that they see them not as colleagues, but as sex objects. Sexual harassment is still a serious problem. I'm hopeful that the current debate and discussion that's come out of Helen Garner's book will have an educative effect. I look forward to the day when I don't have to raise this issue when I'm talking about employment. But the sad fact is that simple concepts like workplace manners, treating people with dignity and respect, giving each other a fair go, are not translated into practice as we might have hoped after a decade of workplace reform, equal opportunity policy, human rights legislation, and sex discrimination remedies. And also, of course, advanced management education. Mr. Deputy Chancellor, I refer to reports of observations of your university's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Margaret Gardner, reported in yesterday's press, where she refers to the fact that inherent bias by both male and female employers still meant talented women are not given equal treatment to their male counterparts. She is quoted as reporting, "Tests have showed both women and men rank women lower than men with the same level of talent. We've got all the policies in place to prevent gender bias. Now it's a matter of implementing them and changing the whole culture. You do get instances where people directly discriminate, but that's only a surface part of the problem." She said the flush of enthusiasm women had when the policies were first introduced had given way to a resigned frustration that the process would be long and slow. I urge you to be political about these issues, to make a contribution to ensuring that women get a fair go. Obviously, it would be a good thing for women, but not only for women, for their families too, for their sons, their brothers, their fathers, for men, for everyone. I hope that during your lifetime you'll participate in a workplace where women and men have equal opportunity and equal status. That all of you, men and women, will work together to this end, towards a reconciliation between men and women in Australia. For myself, I am weary of the battle, but I know that I cannot abandon it yet. And I am encouraged and inspired by occasions such as this that represent such splendid achievement, and by the attitudes of young men and women whom I know towards human rights, and of their understanding that women's rights are human rights. Don't sit on the sidelines. Don't just let things happen. Plan. Be activist about the things you want changed, and especially plan your career, the short-term goals and the long-term ones. And I would urge you to seek out mentors, but be careful how you do this. Sometimes they become tormentors. Strive to maintain a balanced lifestyle that requires a great deal of discipline. Have interests outside your work that are going to enrich and enhance your life. And that includes, of course, keeping fit. I hope that you'll keep in touch with your university friends with whom you've shared so many important experiences at this stage in your life. Join the Griffith alumni. It will give you the best network you'll ever have. I offer you, on this occasion, my warmest congratulations on your splendid achievement. And I give you too my very best wishes for your happiness and success. I would counsel you to be bold and to remember always Amelia Earhart's wise words, never say no to a great adventure.
Deputy Chancellor, it's my pleasure to offer, on behalf of everyone here tonight, our thanks to Quentin Bryce for her challenging address. She began by reminding us how long it has taken to achieve where we're at now in terms of, in particular, the issue of women's participation in the broad spectrum of social activities. A striking figure, 800 years before women were admitted to universities. And now, of course, we think a lot of progress has been made. But just when, to use her own phrase, I think we were sinking into a warm, fuzzy feeling about the progress that has been made, out came not so much the mace that she mentioned earlier, but some challenging remarks about the ground that's yet to be covered if we are to achieve full participation for women in our society. Of course, in the senior ranks of industry and universities also, and in the public service, there are still enormous disparities in participation. As Quentin Bryce mentioned, Professor Margaret Gardner's remarks yesterday in the Courier Mail refer to research data which shows that to some extent women themselves participate in underestimating women. An extraordinary research finding, but one which is to be taken seriously by us all. Well, I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, you would want to join with me in thanking Quentin Bryce for a very challenging address, one which I'm sure will ring in the ears of everyone here tonight through their careers. Would you join with me in thanking Quentin again? And could I add my congratulations to those already offered tonight, to our graduates, on their great successes. Wish them every success in the future, and as it has been done by both Professor Irving and Quentin Bryce, ask that they join our Alumni Association. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of the traditional student song Gadiama Sigatur. You are invited to join in the singing of the song, whose words appear on page 18 of your program. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony is now concluded. When the fanfares begin, please remain standing as the dais party, the staff procession and the graduates retire. Thank you.